Welcome back to the Marketing Madmen on Extra 106.3. Freddy Carmichael and I are finishing up our conversation. And, I think it's important to end. Let's talk about the changing space of business. So one of the things, you're a gigantic industry. Like, bring Southern Company into this, publicly traded, regulation in every direction, bureaucracy, oversight, all those things. But you're still at its core a people company. And you have a lot of people that work for you. And your actual job is corporate affairs, which means all of those people, you're messaging to them. And I think one of the things that's lost, we tend to think of marketing as your external messaging. I think people are starting to get smarter when you see all these B2B companies that they do internal marketing and that they're trying to get a voice for that. Talk a little bit about what you've seen just in the past 10, 15 years of what the new recruits expect, what they want from a company, because I know it's not just money anymore. So what are you seeing on your end?
Yeah, I mean, again, it's changed dramatically, and this is an issue that we deal with all the time because you're right, it's not what it used to be. I mean, the Southern Company is a stable company. When I was looking, I was like, this is a place that I want to retire with.
Sure.
Like I remember leaving the newspaper industry, working in economic development, thinking this is where I want to retire, and that is just not what we see anymore. And I think that there are.
So you're telling me I'm in the wrong industry?
Yeah, I mean, you think about it though. I mean, people.
I'm not disagreeing. I'm just asking for clarity.
Yeah, I mean, they can't see past 6 months, and so I think it has made it difficult. I don't want to just be all like get off my lawn guy though. I think that there is a level of creativity and a level of innovative thinking that is there. We just have to figure out a way to tap it.
I agree.
They're thinking about solving problems much differently. They care about the future of the world a little bit more idealistic. And so that's all good. You got to harness that. But I think the hardest thing in terms of recruiting is people they want like instant gratification.
I agree.
So we have people, and you can call it whatever you want to. I've heard people say this participation trophy generation or whatever it is. They're just looking for like immediate return on whatever investment they're making with their time, with their money, or whatever it is. And look, you're going to have peaks and valleys. And I think that just one of the things that's different is sort of that longer term view. Sometimes is they're looking for the shorter term, and so that's good. There's a sense of urgency that you want to tap into and be able to harness, but just whether it's staying with your company or whether it's, hey, I may want to do this for 5 years and then I may want to do something else.
Sure.
For 5 years.
Sure, but commit to 5 years.
Yeah.
I mean,
get to 5 years,
you joke like, because when I started doing the show that I wanted was to do 100 episodes, and the only reason is the only way you'll know if you're good at something is if you do it 100 times, right?
Yeah.
You can't gauge on day 1, you can't gauge on day 10 because you have not given yourself enough time to do something to see if you're good at it or not. You have people that they want to follow that path, but you tell them 5 years, and at year 1.5, they're like, I think I'm ready.
Yeah.
And it's like, you don't even know what we do for a living. If I put you in a room with people, you would and what is it you want? And it's a participation trophy.
Yeah.
I mean, I was joking when I was with my 17-year-old niece, and it was a graduation party, and she goes, why are you not taking this seriously? I go, because we're celebrating something you're by law required to do. Yeah. I go, you're graduating high school. By law, if you take out its truancy. And then I made fun of her because she lives in Monroe, and I go, that's not true. You can work on a farm. The rules are different here. Yeah. But we're celebrating things that people are required by law or by society to do. And it's like, look, you graduated college. I get it. I know it was hard. I know it was so hard to graduate college. But like now the real world starts, and people are paying you money to put outputs are. Yeah. What are your outputs, and are you measuring your outputs? Inputs don't matter anymore. Yeah. Outputs matter.
Yeah, I mean, again, some of the first questions is, am I going to be able to work from home? It is. Again, there are a lot more. I would have never thought to say that in the first. I would not even think of that to say that now on the front end. But again, COVID did change a lot of that too. But it is more about what are you going to do for me? And so I see a lot of that. Again, we got to figure out a way to tap into it and harness it. But there's definitely a difference in this.
So what are you messaging? So you're going for the same pool of talent that everybody else is in Atlanta, and it's a big city with lots of companies. And part of the reason that they can ask about working from home is there are lots of job openings right now that we are not fulfilling because we have not trained our people to be in these jobs. What are you guys offering at Southern Company? How are you messaging to internal and external to show the values? Because you believe in them, that's clear. Yeah. Most of the people that work there, but also there's an older generation that's probably getting pensions and probably has different things, values that these people are not going to be able to get, which is for the sake of reality. So how are you messaging to these younger people and in recruitment?
Yeah, I mean, I think we have fully embraced the hybrid model. So, I mean, but we have also been very focused on the fact that we are a relationship-driven company. And so that in-person interaction is super important. And so, like, that's what we've done from that standpoint. I would say, look, at the end of the day, the one common thread is that people, this goes throughout generations, they want to be somewhere where they feel like they're going to make a difference in the world every single day. So if we can tie sort of their personal purpose to the company's purpose, that helps us a lot. And that's what drew me into Southern Company. I mean, I didn't know what it was when I first saw it, but that was the difference in the people that I saw at Mississippi Power that drew me in. And I found a company that truly wanted to make the communities better off because they were there. And so I think the more that we can get this newer generation that's in the workforce right now connected and connecting their personal values, individual purpose, and connecting those to the companies and sort of seeing that, I think we've got a better shot at it.
Yeah, I mean, again, like you said, you don't have to market, but you're sponsoring golf tours and all these programs and the teams, and I'm sure a lot of times you're doing that because there are probably those kids that are 21 years old who will be like, hey, I got to go to a game. They sponsor the Falcons, my home team. This is something that I take personally. When you look at it that way, it makes a lot more sense, right? Because keeping that employee base happy and proud about what they do is how you retain people. Because there's always someone that's going to be willing to pay more money. There's always a hot and coming trend that everyone on earth wants to get aboard all at the same time. I mean, AI is a great example, right? Everyone should just be a prompt writer for AI, right? Until that next thing is gone. So I think that when you think about it that way, it makes more sense why you guys market the way that you do. And it makes more sense that why you do that.
Well, we know that sports is an emotional thing. Like, there's an emotional connection that people have. There are no more passionate people than sports fans, whether it's Braves country or, any other, the Atlanta, it could be their travel ball team that's going to Lake Point this weekend. They are very passionate.
I mean, my niece's parents, the girl, she didn't even make varsity basketball at Pius, and they still watch the games on television. Like, that's nuts, dude. You're watching girls high school basketball and your daughter didn't even play for that team. That is nuts. That is passion. You cannot even, you can't, I mean, it's unbelievable.
And it's different in Georgia. I will tell you, I love Mississippi. I was very passionate about my home state. I love it. One of the biggest things I noticed here is, like, with sports. I told my son, he's in middle school, 7th grade quarterback, and is in the battle right now to keep his starting job heading into the 8th grade year. But I told him last year, I said, look, you just played in front of a larger crowd than I ever played at in high school. And this is middle school. He's in the 7th grade. The passion for sports, and definitely in the metro Atlanta area, but across the state, is unlike anything I've ever seen.
Oh my God, New York was a joke, man. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I mean, like our lacrosse team, we had one playoff game at Hofstra, and I think I was in front of 4,000 people. And like, I go up, we did a broadcast at Buford. They were selling tickets on the aftermarket. They had a secondary market for high school tickets to a Buford high school football game. I mean, have you ever heard of anything crazier than that? It's unfathomable. But I think the other thing about sports is, look, the more you get into the business, the dirtier you find the business to be, right? When you start talking about NIL and how the money really goes and sponsorship of high school sports and the athletes. But let me be clear, there's no greater net positive in the world than sports. The things that you instill in these kids, you take an athlete and a non-athlete and put them in the same set of skills, the athlete will almost always win because they've seen failure, they've seen success, they've seen competitiveness and heartbreak, and it is really hard to fake those things. Video games, I had great reflexes because I played video games. It was not teaching me any of that stuff. Nothing at all. Zero of those things. And I also think it is one of the only unifiers left in the world. We are built in a world that's not built to divide. Sports brings people together. From Chris Womack, who I've watched the game with, to the lowest level, entry level intern. You think they're going to have a political talk or a money talk, or what are they going to talk about? Sports. And that you're at the Braves games together, or you're at the PGA, or any of these things. I think the grand unification of it, plus the fact that you're training kids essential skills, makes sports the net positive.
Oh yeah, and look, at all levels. I mean, there's one of the reasons that Southern Company has this connection to sports, and it's not something that just started recently. I mean, they were a big player in getting the Olympics to Atlanta, and I think that one of the things too, sports teaches you. If I look at how I view inclusion as an example, like how I learned to interact with people who were different than me, is because I was around people who were different from me in a sports setting where we all had the same goal. Now, we were all coming from different backgrounds, but again,
the goal was the same.
The goal is the same, and I think there is that's one thing that sports has, where it tends to unify people who come from all different backgrounds.
And those, you would never know more than watching those teammates. If those teammates were not teammates and they were just in a high school together, they would never interact. And who knows what the interaction would be. But the way they're a team, the way they bond together, and then you know what the best part is? The one that doesn't, that's who they kick off the team.
Yeah.
They kick the one that doesn't. I don't care how good that person is. These days, it's about team. They're off the team. Well, Freddie, this has been freaking awesome, man. I appreciate your time. We covered a lot, but hopefully we helped open some eyes and let people know what's going down out there in the world. You've been listening to The Marketing Madman on Extra 106.3, and we will catch you next week.